What is going on, hockey fans? Welcome back to episode 13 of Lightin the Lamp. I'm your host, Dola, and with me, as always, is my partner in crime, JG. How you doing, pal?
Great, man. Long time no see. Quick day off in between the episodes here. And, great finish to the weekend. Beautiful weather yesterday. Out on the boat as usual. Little day off on a Monday here. Got to enjoy some more sun. Some beautiful weather down the Jersey Shore before the summer's out. And, ready to talk some more hockey. We had some big games last night. A couple big ones right now. I'm going to end up jumping right into this Islanders-Philly game once we're done introducing. But what do you got for me, bud? How was the rest of your weekend?
Rest of the weekend was good. Met up with some friends from San Diego. They came up here to NorCal. Got a buddy from Chicago that's actually going to be living out here. Just got a job in Irvine. So just good to see some extra people out and about. I know obviously COVID's been kind of rocking the world this year, but just good to see some more people. Today was driving all over beautiful Southern California, going to the actual job, but happy to be landed back in front of the computer here and back on Lightin the Lamp with you, bud. But like you said, we got a lot of hockey to talk about. We're going to be getting into this New York Islanders-Flyers game, which is on right now. If you see our eyes, moving around, it's because we're
wandering a little bit.
And, we'll definitely be shouting some things out and calling some live stuff out as we see it. But, on Lightin the Lamp, we like to watch hockey, so it's going to be happening. But like JG said, we got to get going with some Lamp traditions here, and I'm bringing one back, which is our beautiful 24-ounce Budweiser Diesel Chug, and there's no other chalice I would rather drink out of than a nice Dot boot. So for everybody here, just let me light this up real quick. We're gonna light the lamp. I'm gonna chug this down, and then we're gonna get into talking some hockey. But
brought the twin lights back for the boys. Another little IPA. A couple of twisted teas down here. Got her buzzing early today. And by the way, Budweiser, I can't ask for any more shout-outs here. Been begging, running out of chugs for the guy over there. A lot of bubbles in his chest. It's uncomfortable. We're trying to make a little thing here, and no love. Just no love. So maybe one of these days, Budweiser, AP, just step it the fuck up and, throw us a little like, a follow, a share, anything. I don't even need the Go Lamp, but cheers, boys. Here comes the chug. Guy is so goddamn impressive. Buries it again. Is that 11 or 12 chugs and 11 down the hatchet? One with a slight hiccup, but still.
Oh no, just a little drop. That's it.
That's all right.
Almost had that clean, just like in Beer Fest, where they were waiting at the top just for the drop to come out.
I was just thinking about that guy's name. I was gonna call. What the hell was his name? The guy who drowns in the tub of beer.
Landfill.
That's basically what you put these beers down like. So Budweiser, give the guy a little look, something, a like on Facebook.
Look here, we're lighting the lamp. But it is what it is, and that's why we're always going to follow it up with some nice crafty beers. And I know JG introduces a nice beverage better than most of them. So
little twin lights today, Jersey brew. Also going to back it up with a Brewdog Clockwork Tangerine, Scotland brewed, but now they brew out of Ohio. Great beer. If you haven't had any, jump on in. Fantastic. Definitely good stuff.
Well, I love it. The lamp's lit. Beer in the books. Let's talk some hockey. Let's talk New York Islanders, Philadelphia Flyers. And before we even really get into the specifics, let's just go out with what we're calling out for the predictions. So, Vegas had this series before puck dropped today at the Philadelphia Flyers, -132. You had the Islanders at +110. So the Islanders definitely the underdogs. I got to say, I'm taking the Flyers in 7, though. Taking the Flyers.
I'm really surprised in Vegas. Little struggle for – I know they finished it pretty fairly early, but a little struggle for Philadelphia against Montreal there. A couple different bounces, and could have probably saw a 6th or 7th game in that series. Montreal was fantastic. I love the Flyers. I juiced them up all first round. I bet the shit out of them. They screwed me a couple of times. I lost a little faith in them. They look to me like the usual Flyers. I'm going with the Islanders in 7, and I'm taking the juice at +110.
Taking the juice at +110, going with the Isles, going against the grain. I just, again, I'm really impressed by this Isles group. I mean, even what they've shown already in this first period is pretty spectacular. I mean,
They're up 12 or 13 to 3 in shots. It's pretty incredible. It's not something. It's amazing. They're killing them. It's not something I expected at all to start a series here. I thought Flyers would have came out hot. Obviously, we spoke. We wanted to bet the game. We were going to bet the Islanders to steal game 1. And it looks that way right now. Obviously, early, a lot of hockey, only a 1-goal game, but it's all Islanders. I mean, physicality, driving the net, goal-scoring chances, it's all there. And they're coming in hot, man. And if they keep playing like this, you might see another short series.
You kind of don't want that. I mean, at this point, we just want to watch more hockey. But at the same time, yeah, you're kind of watching exactly what the Islanders were able to do to the Washington Capitals. They're doing it again here with the Flyers. And I would say in this first period, they almost did it better than they did last series. It's not like they're out of energy. They got plenty of energy. They got plenty of legs. Like you said, they got 15 shots. Right there at the end, Philly did get a little bit of a scoring chance. Kevin Hayes streaking down the wing. He sent almost a backdoor.
He had a breakaway, too, where he fumbled on the puck earlier in the period that I caught. I mean, he's the best Flyer to me these playoffs. Him and Couturier are all over the ice. Provorov looks great. Carter Hart. But, if they're going to come out sluggish like this Islanders team's a great mix of young and veteran leadership. I mean, you got Beauvillier, looks like he's riding the wave here. He might become the star that they drafted him to be. Barzal looks great. Pellick, Pulak. You got Anders Lee leading the charge. Big boy captain out there throwing bodies, finishing on big chances at big times in the game and coming in the clutch for them. For me, honestly, my favorite Islander right now, Anders Lee, just leading the charge. As the captain of the team, she's showing it every night in, night out. Throwing the body, finishing. He's got assists. He's doing everything the coach asks you to do. And I just don't see the Isles losing again. As much as I hate to see either of these teams move on to the Eastern Conference Final, I just think the Isles are too good right now.
You're thinking the Isles are too good. Wow, we've come a long way from episode 1 of Lightin the Lamp, where we're just
the Isles. Listen, I still say fuck the Isles. I'm not trying to throw any praises out here, but bottom line is, Barry Trotz can coach a hockey team, and they got a great mix of players that are doing it together right now. I mean, you got Brassard, who's been there a few times before. You got your third line, your Martin, Cizikas, Clutterbuck. I mean, bring probably one of the most physical lines in the league. And I think you're showing the last couple of playoffs, you have a trend here. These teams that have a line of players that can go out there and bang and scare the other team are winning cups. St. Louis had one last year with Patrick Maroon on it. You got the Capitals the year before were like the Monstars in Space Jam. They were killing everyone out there. And that's what I think the Rangers lack a lot of. So going back to some stuff we haven't gotten to talk about as Ranger fans, but we're missing that physicality and that competitive edge. And you're seeing it with these teams that are rolling. Vegas, the Isles, they're all doing it. Boston.
I can't even tell you how many of those trade rumor reports that are coming out right now just about who are chasing and where. And I can't even tell you how many, articles are coming out that we're going after, like Cirelli from Tampa Bay.
I saw a Cirelli article today. I like Cirelli.
Yeah.
I think the Rangers realize they lack toughness. I mean, not to get too far off subject here with the playoffs, but we are a Rangers pod first and foremost. So just getting into that, I mean, we do lack complete toughness. We were soft as baby shit this year. The only guys to me that show any of that are Lindgren, Kreider, DeAngelo. Those are guys that
Brendan Lemieux is like the heart of it.
Play the role, but Kreider and DeAngelo are power play guys. They need to be scoring points. We need guys that bring that edge that aren't having to worry about putting up 50 points while doing it. So
I know. I got to say, when Kreider broke his foot, I literally my heart sank. I was like, well, there goes our entire aggressive side of our hockey club, just out in one shot, just gone, right? Like,
but let's not get too far off. Let's finish up this series here. I mean, obviously you got the Flyers, I got the Isles. Should we make a little friendly wager? $25?
I think we just got to, just because, I don't want to be afraid of
Not
this.
many series we disagree on team-wise, maybe game number-wise, but, when you come across each other here and we're going to root against each other, let's make it a little fun.
All right.
$25, $30.
We'll take 25. I'll take the Flyers. You take the Isles.
Doesn't matter how many games. Just
Doesn't matter how
whoever
many
we
games.
win.
And I know you don't want to make that bet again because you
No,
lost
no,
that
no.
with
Well,
Dallas.
I'm already going to be paying for one of your bets tomorrow as my $50 payback. So Timmy will be getting paid on a series I completely shit the bet on. Just not much more to say about that. But let's push on into this Tampa Bay-Boston series. Another good hockey game last night. Obviously, you didn't like what I had to say earlier when we spoke on the phone. I think that Boston is just awesome. I just think they know how to do it. They showed you last series. Everybody thought they were shitting the bed over in the round robin, and they just showed you that when they want to turn the light switch on, they turn it on and go.
You thought it was very tilted towards Boston. I thought that was a very more even game than expected. I wouldn't say more than expected than what you conveyed or characterized, right? I thought Tampa Bay had just as many scoring chances as the Boston.
I thought so. I just thought Boston outplayed them. I thought you go up 1-0, then 2-0, then 3-0, and yeah, they capitalized a couple times late there to close it in. They could have easily been up 3-0 in the game. I agree, but I just think Boston shows you how good they are at finishing and doing it. And it's every year, every time they play Tampa Bay, Toronto, not any of these teams can they want to put out against Boston, and that to me conveys why they were so much stronger last night, in my opinion.
When the Rangers lost in the Stanley Cup, they'd have 600 scoring chances a game. They'd put in one. When teams can finish, they win Stanley Cups. And, it's just even like when you watch the Toronto and Columbus series, who wins in overtime? And then Columbus faces Tampa Bay, and who wins in overtime? And just who wins those bounces in those one-goal games? And even look at, like, all the Montreal Flyers games. They were all almost one-goal games. Like, they were tight games. Even the Carolina-Boston games, tight games all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's just like, good teams find a way to win no matter what. And, I mean, even when Pasta down, obviously the Bruins found a way to do it last series. They lose Tuukka. Yarrow comes in. Halak just stands in on his head. The goaltending battle between Vasilevsky and Halak was incredible. I thought both goaltenders stood on their absolute head. They were brick walls between the pipes, and you got to give them a lot of credit. But I got to say,
this series is going to come down to goaltending. I mean, because at the end of the day, the scoring prowess is pretty head on. You got a lot of scoring power up front on Boston, and you got even more on Tampa Bay. I think you have a little bit more veteran experience that's been all the way there on Boston. Tampa Bay's been deep with Stamkos a couple of times and never made it to the Cup, right? They just the Eastern Conference Final they lost in.
Yeah.
So for me, I think Boston just they bring a different element, I think, in the playoffs than Tampa Bay. I mean, obviously you got Pasta, you got Krejci, you got Coyle, my buddy over there, Tim Clifton. Huge fan. Got to watch him a couple times.
Connor Clifton?
Oh, I called him Tim. Holy shit. Sorry, Tim. But Tim's at home watching his brother on the TV, fucking cheering the shit out of him, Cliffy hockey. But they both played at Quinnipiac, had the opportunity to watch both of them play a couple of times versus Yale, and flew out to watch them play in the national championship versus North Dakota, where now you have some of those very guys in these Stanley Cup playoffs. Pretty impressive game to see. But I mean, I think just the depth. You brought Coyle in, and you went out and you got Kashe from the Ducks, who was also a quietly awesome pickup. You have Pasta, Marchand, Krejci. I mean, it's just incredible. It's really Bergeron is probably the best Selke-worthy player in the league for the last decade, and he just does it just as good every year, no matter what.
Every year, best defensive player of all time.
I think this series is going to be tight. It's going to be incredible. I think this is probably going to be the best series of what you're watching right now in the second round, in my opinion. They've been to 7 games before together a couple of times. They don't like each other, and there's a lot of scoring prowess. 2 good goaltenders. I'm taking Boston in 7.
Okay. I really have a lot of faith in this Tampa group. I think, it was kind of weird. The last game was probably the first time I saw this Tampa team, and it actually looked like, damn, they're just lacking Steven Stamkos, right? Like, it just freaking sucks. Like, he was kind of supposed to be back right around this time, and they're kind of hoping. You're clinging to hope later on that he might come back if they make it through a later round. I know he's out definitively for the rest of this round. But I gotta say, Braden Point looked great. Kucherov flying all around the ice. Hedman was actually mixing it up with Chara. Actually went and drove the net. And again, I think they're going to get their chances. Like you said, you're taking the Bruins in 7. I don't think we're counting the Lightning out just yet, but I do think they need to find another gear because, they didn't look as fast as they normally do. Usually they kill teams with speed, and just they didn't against the Bruins the other night. It looked like
defensively, you're seeing the Bruins kind of strangle. They strangled them a little. As much as there was chances, they strangled them a little bit. And I like, as much as Tampa Bay's back end is pretty damn deep on paper, I like the youth and the mix of veteran leadership on the defensive end on Boston. And I think, again, they've been there a couple times more, and some of these young guys have an opportunity to play with guys like Bergeron and Chara. And I just think the mix is just too much to handle, and I think they're going for it one last time because maybe another year or two, man, and, Marchand's getting up there a little bit. Krejci's getting up there. Bergeron, Chara's way up there. Tuukka's not too young anymore, so I think things are – even though he's not playing right now, he'll be back. I think things are headed out of their favor over the next couple of years. So I think you're just going to see a different gear from a Bruins team that really just needs to win one because, let's be honest, they've had plenty of opportunities since 2011 to do it again, and they haven't capitalized. Especially last year, you give that series up, and, it happened to you once before also where you lost in 2013 to the Hawks. So, I just think that they have a little bit more to lose than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay still has some years left.
We'll see. It's going to be a great series. I think if I had to pick anything, I'm still going to go with Tampa. I'm going to go the other side. I'm going to play the devil's advocate just because we got to keep this entertaining. Why pick the Bruins when I can go against you and pick Tampa? So I guess we're going to have to throw another 25 on this one. I'm going to have to take Tampa. You're going to have to take the Bruins.
Yep, absolutely. I didn't even realize we went opposites again.
Jeez. I really like the coaching staff. I love the organization.
Love Tampa's coaching staff. Love the ex-Rangers. I agree with you. And I think I have a little.
You got to shout out McDonough. You got to shout out Shattenkirk. You got to shout out these guys that bled blue for us. So I actually would want to hope that I know your boys with some of the Boston boys. So I just always got a little bit of love for
hockey. Hardworking kid, was a 5th-round draft pick. Arizona never signed him. Ends up moving on, signing with Providence, and just nobody thought. Even I don't think the Bruins realized what they had in him when they brought him in, and he's just a hard worker. Since the day I saw him, I'll never forget the first time I saw him. I was playing for the Titans. He couldn't be more than a Pee-wee minor, maybe a Pee-wee major. I was playing junior B with his brother, and he just was different out there. They were skating with sleds with weights on the back of them, and he was buzzing like a train wreck. And he was a little smaller than the other guys, D-man, and just something about him. And he shows you he worked his way up from a 4th, 5th D-man in Providence all the way to a 5-6 guy on Boston who's trusted, who finishes. He has some assists. He's got penalty minutes. He's tough as nails, and I think he brings that Boston Bruin, swagger to the team. So just a guy I got to root for, and honestly, I'm hoping they win. I really am. Like to take your $25 too.
There we go. Well, you know what? Luckily for you, you got a game in hand on me, right? Just because we're a little late to the game, but that's okay. You know what? I don't worry about that because you were hot in Calgary. You came out fired, and Dallas came back and wiped you off the map. So.
Well, let's be honest, and you and I both know that if Matthew Tkachuk isn't out of that series is over in 6.
It's a different series. But you know what?
Dallas take advantage, though. You got to respect them for that. Good teams take advantage of their prey, and
let's talk about that series, Dallas versus Colorado. Look at Dallas right now. The last 3 games they've played. 19 goals, 7, 7, and I don't.
And a little juicy too on the Vegas
They're
lines.
fine. Like they are like Dallas is scoring goals and they're scoring goals in bunches. And I don't think I've ever seen a team really this fucking hot. Like they
Let's
are
be honest. I
fire.
think you would have rather. The other night you told me you really liked Vancouver plus 220 for the series and better than the Dallas series. And I think your views have changed a little bit there. I would
Great,
hope.
100%.
Dallas plus 185 is a juicy bet. And let's not forget that Dallas did play St. Louis to Game 7 last year and was fantastic and could have easily been in the Stanley Cup. I mean, they looked like every bit of a Stanley Cup contender. They were very impressive. I couldn't be more impressed. I was rooting for them huge last year with Zuccarello headed over there. Obviously, he's not there anymore, but they fill in with Perry and Pavelski, who's got 6 goals, had a hat trick and a game winner in OT in one game. Just never ceases to amaze anybody with his goal scoring prowess. And I mean, they plus 185 for a team that could have won the cup last year and was damn close to going to the conference final, lost in overtime. That's a juicy number, man.
The only reason why it's that juicy is because they have to face every single night, like probably the purebred Nathan McKinnon ready to win the Conn Smythe if Colorado can get to the cup. Like, I mean, that's just
Flyers putting a little push together here.
Like
no, you're right, man. You're 100% right. But I just don't see, even with Colorado going down 1, I don't see the way Nathan McKinnon's playing. He's the type of guy, he's not letting anybody take this year from him. He's just a man on fire. 6 goals, 10 assists. I think he's a +9 or a +10. I mean, basically just screams every time I get on the ice, a point is being scored. And I'm never letting goals in. I mean, he's a +10 on 16 points. Pretty impressive. I just don't see how Colorado's depth, Nazem Kadri matching McKinnon in goals and just bringing that fierce, in-your-face, just competitive second-line center down the middle. I mean, he's impressive defensively. I have Cale Makar. Gerard is really good. Got a couple of really good young guys back there. Who's the other guy they got from Buffalo? Zadorov is an animal. Nikita Zadorov. He's burying guys. I mean, they're impressive, and their goaltending, even Francois going tonight, doesn't scare me. I mean, they're ready for that. I think he played really well for them all year. He's an up and coming guy for them. I think Grubauer is just there filling the role until he's ready to go, and maybe this is it.
Yeah, I mean,
so
again,
for me, I'm going to get to my prediction, but I'm going Colorado in 7, just for the simple fact that Dallas looked unbelievable yesterday.
This is a series we're going to agree on. I'm going to take Colorado in 6. I truly believe that Colorado is going to answer this bell, and I think Nathan McKinnon is going to lead the charge better than anyone, kind of like Ovechkin in 2018. Like, great, you might try to fight it, but he is going to find a way to win every single game, and you see it. He has 2-3 points a game. The guy isn't going to be shut down. I almost, again, we were talking before this game, and I was looking at the goal line, and when I looked at it, it was 5 for the over, and I thought that was embarrassing to put with Nathan McKinnon on the ice, especially with against a hockey team that's put in 19 goals over 3 games. Like, just to put that combination together, I thought was pretty ridiculous. But obviously Vegas heard me. Their ears were ringing because they had to raise the over-under line right as we were talking. So, I mean, it was pretty funny to see, just like as we were just kind of contemplating bets. But I just think this is my favorite series out of the 4 right now because of how well Dallas is playing.
Always end up loving the West Coast series.
It's ridiculous. Like, Colorado, I thought was surefire, going to smoke Dallas coming into this. I was even thinking,
we weren't late on these predictions. I would have told you Colorado in 5.
Right, that's exactly it. But
now I'm at Colorado in 7 because, I mean, Dallas just looked like every bit of the contender they were last year. And if they play like that again, there's a very good chance that we could be changing our tune here on this series. But for me, big fan of this Colorado lineup. Sakic just came home and did it. I mean, he's got it all figured out. Burakovsky, Nemesnikov, Kadri, all guys he just picked up over the last year year and a half. Burakovsky had some flashes of massive talent in Washington, and obviously they're so deep in their top six. He was fluttering in and out, and gets to Colorado, gets his chance to play on a second line, and almost a point-a-game guy. Not a point-a-game guy, but a 55 to 60-point guy, where you never saw that out of him in Washington. And, I mean, he fit in very well on this team. Nemesnikov finally looks like he's coming into his own after all the trades and places he's been. It hasn't panned out. And, I mean, Sakic really figured out how to put a band of misfits together behind McKinnon and Landeskog and Rantanen. And
Look at these GMs, dude. Steve Yzerman and Joe Sakic, two of the greatest players of all time, and they put together some pretty great, talented spots.
Let's see if Yzerman running home could bring his hometown team back to life, because he made a few quiet misfit moves also that looked to pan out. Robbie Fabry from St. Louis in particular got hurt a few times, was a first-round draft pick in St. Louis, never panned out over there, showed some flashes of talent in the playoffs once or twice, and they decided to let him go and sent him to Detroit, and he scored 15, 20 goals for Stevie Y this year. So another great move. Two guys that really know what they're doing, because they've been in the mix and they know what it takes to win. They know what chemistry is. They're interviewing these guys.
It's chemistry for sure.
They know. They're interviewing these guys before they trade for them. They're speaking. They're calling around the league to find out who these players are before they mix it into the chemistry of their team, because they know what's going to work. They've been there, done that, won cups.
Not to mention, dude, if you're a hockey player, you show up in the temple of Joe Sakic or Steve Yzerman, and, like, what are you going to –
And they're running it? Yeah, you're going to – yeah, exactly.
Get in the weight room, work out.
Stevie Y did screw up about a year and a half ago. Too many questions to Kirby Dach about if he ever smoked weed and all these weird questions in the interview. The guy's a teenager playing junior hockey in Canada. He's drinking beer at bars and banging older women. He's probably smoking some weed. I mean, you're not going to change what guys do, but, you know, skipped out on him and let Chicago grab him, and, boy, what a pickup for Chicago.
Yeah.
Stevie Y really kicked the can on that one.
That's all right. You know what? Everyone's allowed one, right? You know, I mean, we're New York fans. How many times have the Rangers and Giants fucked this up, right? So let's not worry about it too much.
They're notorious for fucking up first-round draft picks, namely Lias Andersson, Hugh Jessamine, Jed Ortmeyer. I don't know. The list goes on.
All right. Well, let's not torch the Rangers too much. We love those boys. You know, we still –
We do. I'm still rocking. I mean, come on. I'm just a disgruntled fan once in a while.
So I'm going Colorado in 6. You're going Colorado in 7. We
Absolutely.
still believe in the Avs. I mean, my favorite other hockey team of all time was the Avalanche between Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic. I'm not going to not believe in the boys now. So love the organization, love what they're doing. Hopefully they come out here firing, and we're expecting a really great game too. So let's jump into
before we get into this series. Sorry to cut you off. I just got to get into this game here really quick. I mean, Alain Vigneault just shows you how good of a goddamn hockey coach he is. The Flyers get outskated, outworked, outplayed in the first period, and come out in the second. And ton of opportunities here flying around. 8 shots to 0 in the second period for the Flyers. And they're looking to be the powerhouse that we were talking about. I still don't regret my pick. I like the Isles in 7, but 15-12 shots now from 15 to 3 or 15 to 4. So, I mean, what a hell of a turnaround for this Flyers team, and just a hell of a coach in Alain Vigneault, despite some of his dumb comments over these playoffs. But let's shoot back into the Golden Knights Vancouver Canucks series here.
Well, I mean, listen, Vigneault did that with the Rangers too. He always knew how to get the boys fired on a different cylinder than Tortorella, right? Tortorella's going to go in the locker room. He's going to rip your face.
Kick the garbage can and abuse the guys.
Kick the garbage can. He's going to abuse some guys. Vigneault's going to go in there, and he's just going to be a little subtle about it. Just like, we're here, boys. Here's where we are. You're gonna show up. You want to go home. It's like, you want to play hockey or you want to go home. And I feel like he finds a way to kind of tweak some buttons a little bit easier than Tortorella. Just,
well, that's why Tortorella's tenure always runs out wherever he goes, because he's just, I mean, everyone's does, but his tends to run out in a couple of years when he's a great coach and he could still do it because the guys don't want to sing his tune anymore. They get sick of it. And, that's what's been heard around the league. That's what I've heard. I mean,
just when guys
personally a gigantic Torch fan, to be honest. But Love him. I think he's the perfect like Olympic style coach, like a tournament style coach, like in your face, make
Herbie
you
Brooks,
fire.
baby.
Yes, very similar.
Because, like,
But
you think about it, like, you could put superstars on a team together, but they're not going to mesh with Tortorella or on his style. And that's the same thing with Herb Brooks. He wanted people with chemistry, people that worked hard, people that knew what they were doing, that wanted to work as a team towards a common goal to go make it happen. And that's what you see in Columbus all the time. And once people become too star-studded that they don't want to listen to shit.
But I think that's why he may be in Columbus for a very, very long time, for the simple fact that they run off of drafting and free agents alone. They don't really sign monstrous free agents. They get the small signings, and occasionally when they feel like they're good, they'll go for it, like they did a couple of years ago with Panarin and Duchesne. And until the next time they feel like they can make those moves again, they're going to be there, and they're going to be a pain in your ass, and they're going to play hard, and they're going to nip you in the ass everywhere you go. And eventually, a year or two from now, they're going to get the opportunity to, grab a free agent or two here and do what they did a couple of years ago and take a run at it where they swept Tampa Bay. So, I mean, like we said, obviously we're getting a little off track, but I mean, Alain Vigneault, if you're watching this, a couple big opportunities for the Isles again here. I'm a little ahead of you, but Alain Vigneault has really adjusted. There's a dead even game now, as before. I was all Islanders.
100%. Well, I love it. That's what hockey's all about. Easy shifts, 1-goal games. It's not going to be a blowout. So let's get into Vegas Golden Knights versus Vancouver, which was a freaking blowout in game 1. 5-0 to the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas actually put this line at -275 to Vegas, +220.
Naturally, because they're going to fucking bury Vegas. They love Vegas. They're going to make them the biggest favorites in America. I mean, they are looking like world beaters right now, but, that's a huge line. You don't see that very often in hockey. I mean,
no.
After last night's game, they really could have put it at -300 because they embarrassed Vancouver. I mean,
they embarrassed Vancouver. That was, but even
poor performance by the Canucks too, though. Not like Vegas came out and there was no way to stop them. Like the Canucks did not play well. I mean, they looked to have a little bit here and there and the occasional opportunity, but I mean, Vegas is very good enough to beat a team 5-0. Obviously, they showed you that last night, but I just think Vancouver didn't give you what they've been giving you.
Listen, Montreal beat the Flyers 5-0 that one game, right? Like, I mean, everyone can have that game, and sometimes even Columbus had a misstep of a game, and every team deserves that. And actually, I think Vancouver hasn't looked bad yet, right? So, like, you give the boys a little step. This is probably the best competition they're facing yet. So,
well, that's the problem with losing a game that big to a team
that big.
Good. I mean, because it's early in the series, and not that you're completely deflated. You got some young guys that are pretty charismatic. You got JT Miller, who will go out there tomorrow, take somebody's head off, score a goal, and fire the boys right back up. But the bottom line is this Vegas team is just for me, the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup right now. I mean, the goaltending tandem, bar none, best 1 and 2 left in the playoffs, without a doubt. I mean, Leonard and Marc-Andre Fleury, who was a first overall draft pick. I mean,
what's your thoughts on Marc-Andre Fleury's agent's tweet today? I thought that was
Didn't even see it. What do you have for us?
So Marc-Andre Fleury's agent tweeted out a picture of Marc-Andre Fleury with an entire sword in his back, just gutting him. And on the sword, it says DeBoer, like Pete DeBoer, the coach, just for not giving him the starting gig in the round and giving it over to Leonard.
I mean, he's not even mad about it, though. He seems to be smiley as usual. And to me, I mean, that's an agent just, trying to fucking stir the pot. And, stupid. I hope that Marc-Andre Fleury's not involved in that. I really don't think from
Marc-Andre apparently knew about it, but he told his agent don't fucking do it because, I mean, he had to come out with a statement just because everyone needs a statement nowadays.
Yeah.
And he was just like, listen, I'm here to help my team win. I actually apologize for being a distraction right now. That's not the intent. And I just want us to win hockey games. And I mean, again, what else are you going to get from a hockey guy other than I'm a team guy. Whatever's going to help us win hockey games, I could care less.
As an agent, if I'm Marc-Andre, agent's fired. Bottom line, like even if you were involved and you were laughing at it when he sent it to you, like, you know what I mean? You can't do that to a team that's on a roll like this.
You're in the middle of the playoffs, bro. On the way to the Stanley Cup, your client is about to get his name etched in again.
Again, yet another bonus for the agent. What do you think? Marc-Andre doesn't write the guy a check every time he wins a cup when he gets a bonus? Takes care of these guys. Take care of people. You know what I mean? So it's like stupid on the agent's part. Marc-Andre to me has been nothing. He did it in Pittsburgh too. He didn't get stabbed in the back. Matt Murray was the better goalie at the time. Matt Murray got to win the cup as the starter, and Marc-Andre filled in the games he was needed. There was a game that Murray got hurt. Next game Marc-Andre played, he stole a game in the series, and when they went back to Murray. I mean, they're riding the hot hand, and that's what you do in the playoffs. And now with this league the way it is, we're able to get these goalies at these low prices, and teams are grabbing two goalies that could play. Look at Boston. Went out and grabbed Yarrow Halak, had Tuukka Rask already. Now Tuukka's gone, not even a misstep. Yarrow Halak is playing better than Tuukka was playing, and Tuukka was a potential Conn Smythe candidate at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, it's a matter of preference for the coach. Obviously, he thinks the boys are playing better around Leonard right now, and Leonard's got the start. You can't be mad about that as an agent. The player has to be mad about that and take care of that on his own. And when he gets in next, show that he's a world beater so they keep him in.
I mean, you know, I'm sure he's just a little bit worried, right? You know, everyone thought Marc-Andre's career was dead after he got traded from Pittsburgh after Murray took over. Absolute came out and was a stud that entire year for Pittsburgh. Was not for Pittsburgh, for Las Vegas that first year when they went on the run to the Cup. And even this year, he was great for them. And that was really with I mean, Robin Leonard didn't even come in until super late in the season. Robin Leonard was
came in the trade deadline.
Yeah, he came in. He was playing for Chicago. So, I mean, and I think Vegas had Malcolm Subban, who they traded in that trade.
What do you think Chicago could have done this year if they would have kept Leonard?
Yeah. Maybe he shows up better than Crawford in those playoffs. I thought Crawford played all right, but
yeah, but Leonard's playing great hockey right now.
Got the shutout the other night, so I mean that's
unbelievable. Right? I mean, I'm gonna get into my prediction here. I just don't, especially obviously we're a day late. I mean, I was picking Vegas anyway. I probably would have went 5. I'm staying at 5. I love Vancouver. Another team I've been pumping up. I love JT Miller. I love Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson. I love Tanev on the back end. I mean, they got great chemistry. They got a great little team. You know, they're definitely making their way up the standings and not down. They've made some great moves. Torrey Stetcher, another good defenseman out of North Dakota. A lot of nice little pickups they've made over the last few years. I know they gave up a first for JT Miller, but seems to be panning out. I mean, you said it to me before. What has he got? 10 points in 11 games.
11 5 goals, 5 assists. Like he's still in the running.
He's a plus player. I mean, if they make it to the next round, he's definitely a Conn Smythe candidate.
I mean, him and Pettersson. I mean, the two of them have 23 points. Pettersson's at 13. I think Pettersson is even number 2 behind McKinnon, who has 16 points.
He is. Pettersson is an anomaly. Nobody thought that him at 5th overall was going to do what he's doing, at least immediately. I mean, and he came out better than the 1st overall pick by far. He came in the Heischer year. So, I mean, you figure you picked 4 people over him, and he is easily the best player in that draft, and not even a question. There's not a player close.
Really? What year was Mikko Heskinen's
Hold on. I know – I don't like to search while I'm on here, but let me pull this up. Miro Heiskanen might have won in that draft, but I think he went 13th overall.
But that's what I mean. But he's a defenseman too. So defensemen usually.
I love Miro Heiskanen. Had him on my fantasy team 2 years ago as a rookie, and he tore it for me. He was great.
But that's what I'm saying. When you're talking about that player, I think Heiskanen was almost in the same draft. But like, look at him too. He is an absolute stud. I think he is right there, number 2, number 3 in terms of points.
Hold on, I'm pulling up the 2017 draft. Let's see.
Pulling up the 2017 draft. We need to go back to the stats, folks. Sorry about this, fans. We should have been hotter of a trot on these.
I mean, we really didn't know we were going to get into this here. To be fair, I mean, I have an idea of who was drafted and all that, but we're getting into 2 specific players. So let's get the exact draft picks and all that available. 2017 NHL draft results.
Because I gotta say, I think again, you go back to some of those drafts, and he's one of those
All
players.
right, so here we go. So 2017, New Jersey, first overall, Nico Hischier, finally coming into his own. Looked good this year. Probably going to be a 60 to 70 point guy. To me, that's a 5th to 10th overall pick, maybe. They thought this draft was quiet. Okay, Miro Heiskanen and Cale Makar went before Pettersson, but to me, Heiskanen is just breaking out in these playoffs. He's been teeter-tottering for a couple of years, so definitely behind Elias Pettersson. Cale Makar, not as many years played as he just came in last year. Pettersson is almost a veteran at 20 years old. He's played 3 years. I mean, he's got a shitload of points. He's point-a-game guy. Behind him is the Golden Knights with Cody Glass. You got the Rangers with Elias Anderson, bust. Sorry, Rangers. I'm not mad at you. More mad at Anderson. Buffalo Sabres, Casey Middlestat. Not the greatest pick. Detroit Red Wings, we had Michael Rasmussen, who is looking to probably work out for them. After that, you got Vegas with Nick Suzuki, who they moved to Montreal.
What a mistake. What a mistake.
13th overall. I mean, Tampa Bay, somebody that's never played a game yet. Callan-footed D-man from Kelowna. Kaylor Yamamoto at 22 overall. Great pick by the Oilers, who are usually a bust of a first-round draft picker. So that's a great pick. And you had the Rangers at 21 before them with Philip Hedl, another good pick. Still nowhere near Pettersson. And then after that, I'm looking into the second round there. Yeah, you got to say Elias Pettersson's right now
the best player.
The last 3 years, the best player drafted in that draft. Cale Makar is damn close to him after a year of playing hockey. And, so is Miro Heiskanen. If he comes out of these playoffs and does what he's been doing, those 3 players look to be what should have been 1, 2, 3, and they went 3, 4, 5. So not too far off.
Not too far off. Okay, so all those guys are right in the mix.
No, basically, the Flyers and the Devils shit the bed.
Our favorite people to shit the bed.
Nico Hischier's played 209 games, 135 points, 51 goals, 84 assists, -6. And you got Nolan Patrick for the Flyers, 145 games, 26 goals, 35 assists. 61 points, -7. Not what you want from your second overall. Then we get to Heiskanen. This is why I say Pettersson is much better for me right now. 150 games played for Heiskanen, 20 goals, 48 assists, 68 points. And he's even, 0 plus minus. And then you get to Makar, who, let's be honest, how do you pick him 4th overall out of the Alberta League? You know what I mean? Whoever picked him was really scouring to the depths of the earth and found a gem, because the Brooks Bandits, don't get me wrong, great program. If you're a guy like you or me who wants to play D1, a program you want to play for, not historically known for drafting before the 5th, 6th, 7th round out of those leagues. So to grab a guy like that 4th overall, just impressive.
It turned out to actually be an absolute
57
stud.
games, 12 goals, 38 assists, 50 points, plus 12. Could potentially surpass Elias Pettersson, but Pettersson, let's be honest, 139 games played, 55 goals, 77 assists, 132 points, plus 19. So 7 points, which he could do that in a game, is what's separating him from a point-a-game guy over the first 3 years of his career. Pretty friggin' impressive.
But that's what I'm saying. So we're talking, all this came up just from talking about Vancouver, right? So you have 2 really hot guys, and just not only Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, JT Miller. Bo Horvat probably had 2 of the prettiest goals that we saw in the last round. To be honest, I really just feel that the Canucks.
Late bloomer Bo Horvat.
I just didn't think that they had their footing. And I think that this is very similar to Colorado in the first game against Dallas. They didn't have the footing. I think Vancouver pulls out a couple games. I think they bring it to 6, and the Golden Knights win it in 6. I still am with you with the Golden Knights. So it seems like on the west side, we're 100% in agreement. It's Avs, it's Knights, and then in the east.
Completely opposite on the east.
Completely opposite. So, that kind of makes
I very well think the Flyers could win that series. Just to me, there's just something about this. There's something about this Islanders team that I just can't quite put the nail on the head. But I mean, Barry Trotz, the defense, that third line, fourth line that just brings so much energy. They're just doing something right, and they're getting the bounces on top of it. I mean, you're seeing it night in and night out. Right now, Flyers are absolutely outplaying them this period, but they got the first bounce of the game. They're playing great defense. They're holding on tight. The goaltending, 2 years in a row, an anomaly. You pick up two black aces who are always hurt, always having some type of issue, never playing, the workload they're supposed to. Very good guys, but they put them together and they make them work. Last year you had Leonard and Grice. This year you had Varlamov and Grice, and now Varlamov just taking over, outplays Holtby, playing great again tonight. I mean, what has he got tonight? 21 saves, or 18 saves. So
Who are you talking about? You're talking about Varlamov and Holtby, right?
yeah, they played together.
Oh,
I'm saying they played each other last series. He outplayed Varlamov. Now he's again outplaying right now, only by a goal, but Carter Hart. I mean, he's got 18 saves on 18 shots right now, Varlamov. Just showing you he's a black ace.
Yeah.
Just showing you he's a black ace. I mean, he outplayed Holtby, and now he's outplaying Carter Hart to start the series. So just pretty impressive over there. But another great episode. Fucking can't believe we disagreed on two things. A little disappointed about that, but intrigued to have a couple of bets in play. So a little something for the fans there, a little content. And, it's been a great night for me, and ready to get out of here and hit the hay, maybe grab a little Chinese food for dinner and get her going. What about you, pal?
I'll probably maybe do a little extra work, see what the wife's up to, and then just obviously try to shut her down for the night. But just watch the rest of the games, because obviously, not only is this Philly Islanders game on, but obviously we got the Stars and Avs coming in later
We're
tonight.
lucky enough for that game to start at 7 o'clock your time. I got to be up at 3:30 in the morning for work tomorrow. I'll probably catch about 4.5 seconds of the first period before I'm drooling on myself. So, I'm going to try to stay awake as long as I can, just because obviously that's an intriguing game for me there. We talked about it, probably our favorite series out of all of them. Love on the East Coast, the Tampa Bay-Boston series. Think it's going to be very similar to the Dallas and Colorado series. So, excited to hopefully make it at least through a period of that game. But I'm going to do the same, pal. Just shut her down, probably watch a couple of these, watch this game, maybe a period of the next, and, on to the next one tomorrow. Probably a big bet for the Lamp boys tomorrow, looking into something nice. Missed out on one tonight by about 2 seconds. So we're going to make a play for tomorrow, and it's about it. If you guys could like, share, follow, push us around. I got a couple of people who added us today, and we're just trying to make a little bit of a name for ourselves here and keep talking hockey. We're really enjoying it with you fans. So that's it for me tonight.
That's it for us tonight, though, fans. We appreciate you tuning in. And as JG said, please like, share, and comment, and we'll be coming back to you with more content. So take it easy, and
Cheers, pal.